911, what's your emergency?
On a freezing December night in Northern Ireland, a quiet street in Lurgan carried a secret that would soon grip the nation. Inside one home, a young woman 15 weeks pregnant was brutally murdered. But what stunned investigators wasn't only the crime itself. It was the strange glow of a computer screen, a live stream that seemed to show her partner elsewhere, immersed in a video game. Was it proof of innocence? Or the most chilling alibi ever staged? On the evening of the 18th of December 2022, Silverwood Green was quiet, its rows of houses lit by the soft glow of Christmas decorations. Inside one of those homes, however, silence had given way to horror. When Natalie McNally failed to respond to messages and calls, concern began to grow. Family members, knowing she was pregnant and usually quick to reply, sensed something was wrong. It was her father who eventually entered the house and made the devastating discovery. Natalie lay in her living room, stabbed multiple times. The attack was brutal, leaving no doubt that the killer's intent was to end her life. The fact that she was carrying a child made the crime even more harrowing. Police were called immediately. Officers arrived to find a scene of chaos, blood on the floor, signs of struggle, and the unmistakable evidence of a violent assault. The house, once a place of warmth and anticipation for a new baby, had become a crime scene. Detectives quickly sealed off the property. Forensic teams moved in, photographing every angle, collecting fibers, fingerprints, and DNA samples. Outside, yellow tape cordoned off the street, and neighbors gathered in shock, whispering in disbelief. The initial question was simple yet urgent. Who could have done this? Natalie was known as kind, gentle, and deeply loved by her family and friends. She had no enemies, no disputes that anyone could recall. The brutality of the crime suggested something personal: rage, betrayal, or obsession. Within hours, the investigation began to focus on those closest to her. And among them was Stephen McCullagh, her partner. The morning after Natalie McNally's murder, detectives from the Police Service of Northern Ireland began piecing together the fragments of a crime that had already shaken the community. The brutality of the attack suggested rage or intent, not random violence. And in cases like this, investigators knew the first place to look was close to home. Detectives interviewed family, friends, and neighbors. She had no known enemies, no disputes at work, no history of conflict. The absence of an obvious suspect only deepened the mystery. Attention soon turned to Stephen McCullagh, Natalie's partner. On the night of the murder, McCullagh appeared to have been elsewhere. His YouTube channel showed him streaming Grand Theft Auto, Vice City, for nearly 6 hours. To casual viewers, it looked like proof he couldn't have been at Silverwood Green. But investigators noticed something odd. The live stream lacked the spontaneity of a live broadcast. There were no real-time interactions, no genuine engagement with viewers. Instead, it felt mechanical, as if the responses had been scripted. Forensic analysis of the video revealed the truth. The stream had been pre-recorded days earlier and scheduled to play on the night of Natalie's murder. What had seemed like an alibi was, in fact, a carefully staged illusion. Detectives began to scrutinize McCullagh's movements. CCTV footage placed him near Silverwood Green on the night of the killing. His phone records showed activity that contradicted the supposed live stream. And within the video itself, investigators claimed to find hidden references, subtle nods to Natalie's death. embedded like chilling Easter eggs. The investigation was tightening. What began as a tragic mystery was now pointing toward a calculated deception. The evidence was converging on one man, Stephen McCullagh. On the 31st of January 2023, police moved in. McCullagh was arrested at his home in Lisburn. The arrest sent shockwaves through the community, not only because he was Natalie's partner, but because of the chilling allegation that he had staged a live stream to cover his tracks. During questioning, McCullagh maintained his innocence. He insisted that he had been at home, streaming Grand Theft Auto, Vice City for hours, and could not have been at Silverwood Green. But detectives confronted him with the forensic truth. The stream was pre-recorded, scheduled to play automatically. It was not live. Prosecutors described the act as a calculated deception. The alleged killer had not only taken a life, but attempted to manipulate digital technology to mislead investigators. McCullagh was formally charged with 2 counts of murder for Natalie and her unborn child, obstruction of justice for staging the live stream as a false alibi. The charges were devastating. For Natalie's family, it was a moment of grim clarity. For the public, it was a case that blurred the line between crime and technology, raising questions about how digital platforms could be exploited in the most sinister ways. As McCullagh was led into custody, cameras captured the moment. His face was expressionless, but the weight of the accusations was unmistakable. The trial ahead promised to be one of the most closely watched in Northern Ireland's recent history. Courtroom in Craigavon Crown Court was packed when Stephen McCullagh appeared to face charges for the murder of Natalie McNally and her unborn child. Journalists filled the benches. Family members sat in quiet grief, and the public leaned in to witness what had already been called one of Northern Ireland's most disturbing cases. The prosecution opened with a stark narrative. McCullagh had not only murdered Natalie, but had attempted to construct a digital illusion to escape justice. The centerpiece of their case was the 6-hour gaming live stream. Prosecutors argued that the video was not live, but a pre-recorded broadcast, carefully timed to play during the hours of Natalie's murder. They presented forensic evidence showing discrepancies in the metadata of the file, proving it had been created days earlier. CCTV footage placed McCullagh near Silverwood Green on the night of the killing. Phone records contradicted his supposed online presence. And within the live stream itself, investigators claimed to find hidden references, subtle nods to Natalie's death. The defense countered by portraying McCullagh as a troubled man, struggling with mental health issues and military trauma. They argued that the prosecution's interpretation of the live stream was speculative, and that McCullagh had not intended to mislead, but simply enjoyed pre-recording content. But the jury was confronted with more than technical evidence. They were shown the crime scene photographs, the brutality of the attack, and the timeline that prosecutors said proved McCullagh's guilt. The contrast between the glowing screen of the live stream and the blood-stained floor of Natalie's home was devastating. As the trial unfolded, the tension in the courtroom was palpable. Every detail of the case, from the forensic analysis of the video to the testimony of Natalie's family, added weight to the prosecution's narrative. The question hanging over the jury was simple yet profound. Was the live stream a harmless recording, or the most chilling alibi ever staged? Weeks of testimony, forensic evidence, and emotional accounts had built toward a single moment. The courtroom was silent as the jury filed back in, faces tense, eyes fixed forward. The foreperson stood, and the words that followed carried the weight of justice. Stephen McCullagh was found guilty of the murder of Natalie McNally and her unborn child. The prosecution's case had been relentless. They had shown how the live stream was not a harmless recording, but a deliberate attempt to mislead investigators. They had laid out the timeline, the CCTV footage, the phone records, and the chilling forensic details. The jury had seen the brutality of the crime and the deception that followed. For Natalie's family, the verdict was both a relief and a heartbreak. Relief that justice had been served. Heartbreak that no sentence could ever bring her back. The judge's words were sharp and deliberate. McCullagh's actions were described as cold, calculated, and cruel. He was sentenced to life in prison, with a minimum term that ensured he would spend decades behind bars. As the sentence was read, McCullagh remained expressionless, the same blank demeanor he had carried throughout the trial. But for the community, the case had left scars. Outside the courthouse, reporters captured the raw emotion of Natalie's family. They spoke of her kindness, her excitement about becoming a mother, and the devastation of losing both her and her unborn child. Their grief was palpable, but so was their determination that her story would not be forgotten. The verdict marked the end of the trial, but it was not the end of the questions. How could someone stage a digital alibi so convincingly? What responsibility do platforms bear when crimes are broadcast or manipulated online? And how does society confront the intersection of technology and violence? In Lurgan, the community struggled to reconcile the horror that had unfolded in their midst. Silverwood Green, once a quiet estate, became a place marked by tragedy. Neighbors spoke of the eerie silence that followed, of the way Christmas lights seemed dimmer that winter, overshadowed by the memory of Natalie's death. The case also sparked broader debates. Legal experts and journalists dissected the implications of McCullagh's staged live stream. Could digital platforms become tools for deception in criminal cases? How should investigators adapt to crimes that exploit technology in such calculated ways? Social media became a forum for outrage and reflection. Many condemned the brutality of the crime, while others focused on the chilling ingenuity of the false alibi. The phrase, "the live stream murder case," began circulating widely, cementing the crime's place in public consciousness. For law enforcement, the case was a lesson in adaptation. Detectives had to move beyond traditional evidence, scrutinizing metadata, digital footprints, and online behavior. The investigation demonstrated how technology could both obscure and reveal the truth. Natalie's legacy extended beyond the courtroom. Campaigns against domestic violence gained renewed urgency. Advocates highlighted her story as a reminder that abuse can escalate into tragedy, and that vigilance is essential. Her family's courage in speaking publicly became part of that movement, ensuring her voice carried on even after her death. And for the wider world, the case stood as a chilling reminder. In the digital age, even murder can be staged against the backdrop of a glowing screen. Natalie's life was full of promise. She was preparing to become a mother, surrounded by family who adored her. Her murder tore through that promise, leaving behind grief that no verdict could heal. The brutality of the act, compounded by the loss of her unborn child, left scars that will never fade. Natalie McNally's name now stands as a reminder of love, of loss, and of the need to confront violence in all its forms. Her story is not just about a crime. It is about the fragility of life, the resilience of family, and the chilling reality that even in the digital age, truth must fight to be seen.